The Marlins, they drop a blockbuster trade. It is trade season for the Fish. They are going all in. We're getting into this massive trade and more on the off day. Stay tuned for an absolute stunning episode of Locked On Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Marlins, your daily Marlins podcast with me, Peter Pratt. Of course, guys, do not forget to follow me on Twitter, of course, at MiamiMarlins_UK. And of course, hit the damn subscribe button, either on the pods or if you're watching this, the YouTube channel. It is live. Look at the quality of the camera. It's HD. I'm caught in 4D here. Who knows? In 4K. Anyway, welcome to the off day. It's an off day Thursday. It's time to reflect, but the Marlins don't have any time to reflect. Kim is out there working the phones. We've dropped a trade bomb. So to dig into that and all the other news, Sam Clark joins me, half of the duo from the NLFeast podcast. Sam, how we doing, brother?
Peter, I am doing great. Happy to be here. Heard the intro live. That kind of ruled. I'm having a blast so far. I'm doing good.
Absolutely. Well, there's a funny story here now, right? Because we recorded a pod together, 3 months ago?
Yeah, and that would have been, off-season pod. It was an off-season pod for sure.
It was an off-season. So I went across to the feast. We talked food, baseball, and tons more. Then we realized that I completely killed my recording device, and so there was no audio.
There was no show. It's the only lost episode of the NLFeast podcast. So you live in infamy, Peter. You got a reputation in our world now.
Put it this way, I've not been invited back since. So
you burn that bridge, Peter. You're never coming back, okay? No, I'm obviously joking.
No doubt about it. It was a bit of a shame because it was a lot of fun, but delighted to welcome you, Sam, onto Locked On Marlins.
Couldn't be happier to be here. Yes, got the City Connect jersey on. Yeah, I had to liven it up. I was telling Peter, I just moved, so I got a new all-white background. So I was like, bring some color into this. Bring the red in. So yeah, I went with the alts.
Didn't go quite as far as the blue hair as well or anything, no?
That's true. No. I had my braids, but I took them out. I just didn't know if it was going to be a good look or not. But no, didn't dye the hair blue. Not yet anyways. Bring me on next time. I'll have blue hair, I promise.
Oh, boy. He's dropped that bomb early doors. All right, so we're sitting here on an off day. It could be a quiet day. The Marlins fan base is in serious pain. Don Mattingly fired. The campaign is ramping up. I mean, all hell's breaking loose. Kim Ang has just dropped the trade bomb in there. The Marlins, they have acquired Luke Williams.
Absolutely.
Luke Williams.
What a name, too. Great classic baseball name. I love that name.
Classic name, no doubt. I went and looked at his stats, his career stats.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't blown away.
Leaves a little to be desired. I completely agree. I heard a great stat, though. I was listening to Fish Stripes earlier today, and Eli was talking about how he's played every position in the infield and outfield, though. So that's not nothing. That's something.
Versatility.
Versatility, for sure.
That's what we like to see. So the Marlins have effectively sent the dude they got back. Somehow they got someone back for Alex Jackson.
The biggest miracle in the world.
I mean, this trade continues to rumble on and on and on. Duvall, Adam Jackson. I mean, what was going on there? Alex Jackson, he's jettisoned. They get back this dude. The Marlins then think, no, he's crap. Mm-hmm. We're going to go and get Luke Williams.
We need to get Luke Williams.
We need him. So, but I mean, it's an interesting the thing. Taking away the numbers, the player, and I don't know a lot about him really, ex-Philly. But taking all that away, it's an interesting trade in terms of the versatility of the guy defensively,
for sure,
and the timing. Because it's fair to say we've been struggling with a plethora of injuries all at the same time. COVID, Jazz's hamstring, Wendell's hamstring. It's been a little bit kind of injuries in bunches. So I'm kind of intrigued to see the why around this when they've got Eric Gonzalez up that's been playing like every day for a month, it feels like. Eric Gonzalez.
I know. Yeah, Marlins legend. We have a new Marlins legend now.
And then, of course, Astudillo makes
Oh
his
God.
Marlins debut.
You saw him chasing last night, swinging at that pitch that was like practically at his face up there. Oh, Peter, and that throw to
Boy, oh
first.
boy.
Not a good debut for the Marlins.
Not a good debut. The thing is, I really, really want to like him. I really want him to be great because in his name, Astud. It's perfect. I can see a T-shirt coming there. I can see a bespoke T-shirt happening. But
that's a match made in heaven. I didn't even think about that. You got your classic word right in the middle of his name. We need him to do better. He needs to step up now.
I know. This is it. You just need a stud and a turtle combination, and bang, you've got a T-shirt that could be a bestseller. Like kind of eclipse the Bryn Sanity shirt from last year. I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. How many Bryn Sanity shirts do you still have, by the way? You wearing a Bryn Sanity shirt every day?
They were a sellout, those ones. So,
yeah, flying off the shelves.
I ordered 10 units. They were all gone.
Just pallets. You're taking pallets out of your house. These Bryn Sanity shirts. Peter, does this worry you at all though? That maybe that some of these injuries to like the middle infield guys and maybe even like the third base end are going to be a little bit longer than we anticipated?
I think that's the thoughts in my mind is like, why now this trade? What's the problem? Is Wendell longer? Is Jazz going to need some time? I don't know. That's kind of where my head's going with this one.
That scared me a little bit.
The other thing too is, what are they thinking about Jesus Sanchez? They may be thinking, might be a time for a bit of a blow in the minors, and then all of a sudden, John Birdie's kind of thrust into the outfield.
That's a great point too. That's a great point too.
That kind of came into my mind too, thinking about, you got a bit of a roster crunch coming because there's guys coming back: Birdie, Wendell, Blyer. 3 of those dudes. There's like 4 or 5 guys that maybe are on the bubble then.
Yeah. It's a great point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. So I don't know. The timing is interesting. And I don't think it's going to reveal itself for a few days.
It'll take some time.
It hinges, I think, on Jazz and it hinges on Wendell. But all indications are they kind of near to being back. So
I know. It sounds like Jazz was taking BP yesterday, was doing like on-field drills and stuff. So like I'm assuming he's getting close to coming back. And I know that it's been kind of floated that tomorrow, Friday, the 27th, he'll be coming back. So it does seem to be strange timing. I wonder. So do you think Birdie would play center field then if they sent Sanchez down, or do you think they'd move Avisail over to center field and then I don't know, Brian Anderson in right field, Wendell in third base? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the interesting question there, isn't it? Is because Birdie, can't forget, Birdie was absolutely scorching.
I know, he was on fire. He's great. The man can do it all.
He can absolutely do it all. So Birdie was scorching, no doubt. This was in the early days, platoon heavy, everyone losing their minds. Jazz Chisholm have a seat, John Birdie start. Everyone's like, what the hell?
What's going
Birdie's
on?
raking. Yeah, absolutely. But I do think that if Jesus goes down, the question's got to be is, do you trust De La Cruz? I mean, De La Cruz has done nothing wrong.
I do. I love DLC. Yes, I love DLC.
Yeah. But we haven't seen De La Cruz either. And I guess that's the other kind of, the guy that we haven't heard anything about since he had that, hit by pitch in the Brave series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we haven't seen him. We haven't heard anything about it.
That's a great point too,
is he going to be IL'd? And maybe that's kind of part of the problem too. So all of a sudden it's like, okay, is Avisail going to have to play center field? BA going to play a corner? Wendell into third? Then all of a sudden you're like, shit, we're thin.
Yeah, what's going on?
Luke Williams, baby.
That's when Luke Williams steps in, and he's playing anywhere, Pete. He's doing third base, second base. He's selling popcorn in the stands. He doesn't care. He'll do it all.
No doubt about it. And I got it was funny last night. I was watching the game live on Wednesday night. Cody Poteet getting the start.
Yeah,
5 runs in the first.
I know, dude. It's brutal.
And you had the momentum building straight away, right? Of Astudillo was going to get his debut as a reliever.
He's going to be Sandy Leone 2.0. Yeah.
No
I know. It's kind of sucks because I'm from Florida originally, obviously. So I have a ton of friends, college friends, just like casual friends who are Rays fans, and I'm getting heckled now all the time, Peter. I'm going we're going out for drinks, we're going out for dinner, getting scorched about the Marlins here because also both games felt like we got the wind knocked out of us right away. So when the Kiermaier inside the park home run, you're like, okay, classic Marlins bull. Like, who knows what's going to happen now? Just feels like it's another 1-run loss. And then yesterday, obviously a heartbreaker. We had a little bit of a comeback there for a second, but we weren't able to get it done. But yeah, man, these 1-run games are killing me. I'm dying over here, Peter. I don't know how you're doing it, staying up till 2 a.m. watching them.
Man, look at my face. Look at me.
It says it all, Peter. It says it all. Oh, I know, man. I don't know what we're doing. We're holding on for dear life over here as Marlins fans.
We really are. The fan base is in pain, I think it's fair to say. But the funny thing is, me and Joe Vasaro got into this on Tuesday pre-game, and Joe was saying to me, Pete, listen, look at the stats. Whoever scores first, when the Marlins are playing, they're winning the games. And straight away, like you said, the win was straight knocked out of my sails because that inside the park home run, not only because it was a shambles, a shit show in the outfield and the infield and everything. But I was like, oh boy, that's 1-0. They've scored first. Game over. I can go to sleep.
I can go. That's true, though. That's a great point. So if they score in the first, especially 5 runs, you're going honk shoe. You're sleeping no problem right away.
Oh my days! It was a snoozer for me then, but it was time. But I made it both games.
You did. Okay. That's very impressive. I also had my win double knocked out of my sails, Peter. I don't know if I've been talking to you about this, but I've been doing a little bit more of my sports gambling, and I put a no run scored in the first inning for that Marlins Rays game when Jesus decided to dive for it instead of just, stay in front of it and get the single. And it was just like watching Kiermaier sprint, like you looking like a NASCAR guy rolling all around. That was just salt in my wounds, man. Salt in my wounds.
Pain. I give my take on that yesterday on the pod. Just try and give me your take on that Jesus, the play in general, because I know we focused in on Jesus.
Yeah,
and it starts there, but it wasn't just him.
It wasn't just him. No, Stallings should have caught the ball from the relay guy. I think it was it Eric Gonzalez who threw it in.
Of course it was.
It was, yeah, of course, yeah. Who else would be over there? And it wasn't a bad throw at all, and the throw would have beat him, but it was just handled poorly by Stallings. I think the weirdest part for me is that you assume that as an outfielder, specifically a center fielder, that you're going off gut instinct. You're not second guessing yourself when you see that. You're making a beeline for the ball and you're deciding right away, no doubt, no second guess. Am I diving for this or am I going to keep it in front of me? And there's a little bit of hesitation when you rewatch that. Jesus is like coming and it looks like he might stop and then he fully lays out. And I'm like, you can't be second guessing yourself on these plays. I mean, obviously stay in front of it. Don't try to, especially when you're not the best defensive center fielder, don't try to, look like Mike Trout out there or Mookie Betts. Like, keep it in front of you, hold it to a single. Kiermaier, he's lucky to have a single, and how fast he is. Oh, yeah. And then also what kind of bothered me a little bit, Peter. I love Jesus so much. I have so many Jesus Sanchez photos saved in my favorites for memes and for gift. Like, this guy's the best. He seems like a sweetheart. I went to a Jumbo Shrimp game. I guess it would have been 2 years ago now, maybe last year. I don't remember. And he stayed back. He was talking to everybody. Just seems like the sweetest guy in the entire world. Big teddy bear. But he's kind of taking his sweet time running to the ball in center field. Now, I'm sure he saw Abisail run into it, so he knew he had backup. But like, when you make yourself look bad like that, dude, like, make up for it with the effort. You know what I mean?
This was it. Like, it went past him.
Yeah.
And it was a full layout and a full whiff, full blown whiff, not even a glove or arm, nothing on it. It was like he got nowhere near it. And a gets up. I mean, he lays on the deck for a while. He's looking around going,
around.
It's not in my glove. What the hell?
I know. It was definitely a little upsetting. But yeah, and then like we said, it's like after that, it feels like whatever the Lowell Marlins version is of the Lowell Mets, it's like, well, now we know that this game is over. And if something like this happens, that it feels like the players start to get defeated too. Do you get that vibe that, like, once something like that happens, they check out right away and you're like, this is the bottom of the first inning. What are we doing checking out already? Like, we need somebody in there to kind of rile them up. Now, I know Craig Mish has been saying everybody's screaming fire Don Mattingly, but who are we going to replace him with? And that's not kind of my baseball expertise, so I don't know either. But how are you feeling about the fire Mattingly? Where's your head with that? Because we both see it. You're the king of Marlins Twitter now. You're getting added all the time. Where's your head at with the fire Mattingly? Do we keep him around or is he gone?
It's a tricky, because the momentum's building right around this. But I am absolutely 100% in the retain Don Mattingly camp. I absolutely love Don, and I've built a relationship with Don, from the media Zoom stuff. So like I've got more insight than most guys out there because I was on the Zooms daily with half an hour of Don Mattingly. So I got a read on, and Don's just a stud, a straight up stud.
He seems like a sweetheart too.
There's just no other way of saying it. Don is a stud. The thing you got to question though with these things is, like, does it just need a change? Do you just need a different voice?
Yeah,
leading
different energy kind of thing.
The men.
Yeah.
And I guess decision to be made. I don't think it's made during the season. Like, if the Marlins fall out of this, I mean, what's the good of firing Don Mattingly? His contract's up, so he's going to be left to run his course. He should be left to run his course. He was the manager of the year in 2020, and there's always head scratching.
Yeah, he was the manager of the year in 2020.
Manager of the year.
It's a great point. You can't fire the manager of the year.
What the hell? We're only 18 months removed from.
I know. So yeah.
I'm absolutely I'm not in that camp whatsoever. I think just in general, Don's there trying to work with what he's got, right? And at the end of the day, Avisail Garcia and Soler collectively, they just haven't done it. They haven't done enough. The offense hasn't done enough. The pitching stood up. The pitching has. Yeah. The closing situation as well has been a problem. That's not Don's fault. I mean,
that's true.
He wasn't given the tools. Don wasn't given the tools for the ninth.
You said a situation, and that's the nicest way I've ever heard anybody describe the Marlins bullpen, late inning bullpen situation. It's a situation, not a dumpster fire. It's a situation. Yeah, it's ruined multiple nights of my last couple months already. This lack of a closer thing, but I think I agree with you. I think you keep Mattingly around. Something, and I know this is a little controversial probably in Marlins Twitter sphere, but like, I kind of like seeing him embrace the analytics. Now, there's obviously questions you can ask about, like, you need to have Jazz in every night. That's just if he's healthy, maybe give him a day off here and there just to kind of rest his legs because of how hard he plays. But like, he needs to be in the lineup every day. Everything else, though, if you want to go handedness, if you want to go matchup based, like I'm all for that. And he's shown the ability to kind of adapt his traditional managerial style to the new age. And I'm sure there are people in his ear in the front office. I don't have any sources, Peter. I'm not a guy with sources, but I'm sure there are people in his ear telling him to kind of like maybe embrace analytics a little bit more, and they're providing him with that, and then he's making the adjustments as he sees. And yeah, to me, that's the sign of a good manager. If you're willing to kind of change things up, I know he's always talked about wanting to have one guy as his closer. That's always been the way he's always had one dude that's closing every game out if he can. And we obviously don't have that, so he's kind of adapted to moving it in. That we had Bender out there for a while, we had Sulcer out there for a while. Who else has blown games for me? Help me, Peter. I'm thinking a little bit, but yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, oh, God, yeah. Okert blew a lead once, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I agree.
We're back around to the Bass man. We're back to Bass, right? It's gone full circle.
Loud Marlins fans elated, dude. Biggest Bass fan I've ever met in my life.
He is. That's what I mean. He's chair of the Fire Mattingly campaign, and he's absolutely chair of the Bass Mania hype train too.
Bass Pro Shop. There's are you familiar with Bass Pro Shops, Peters? Is
that a fishing store or something?
Yeah, it's like a fishing wildlife thing, but they call it Bass Pro Shop. And there's a pun there, and I'll sit on it for a little bit, and I'll get back to you. There's something there. I got to think about it a little bit.
There's another T-shirt to be had there.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm getting into. I do a lot of the hosting, question asking on my podcast. I feel like I'm doing that to you right now. So please forgive me if you want to take back over the duties. I feel like I ran over you a little bit here. My apologies.
I'm absolutely loving it. It's my favorite episode thus far. However, what I do have to say is I have forgotten we had to read an ad about 5 minutes ago. So I better read an ad unless, of course, you want to do it. But,
no,
I'll
do our ads.
There you go. I'll take this one on. So, guys, reminder, this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto, not Bass Pro Shops. So Rock Auto.
Not Bass Pro Shops.
With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure the often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry? Come on, get yourselves over to rockauto.com and save time and money when using Rock Auto. Why choose to spend 30%, 50%, even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Use your heads. Rock Auto, it's a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. The price is reliably low for every customer. So get yourselves over to rockauto.com right now. See all the parts available for your car or truck. Write Locked On in the How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. It's rockauto.com. Okay, Sam, let's
reads. Peter, that was impressive.
You like that one? Like the Rock Auto? So
Yeah, I do a lot of copy and pasting. So we cut to commercial. We just like in the post edit, I'll put it in, so I don't have to worry about it. But if that's not an easy thing to do. Kudos to you, my friend. Kudos to you.
well, there we go. Well, I'll have a sip of wine to that one then anyway.
Hey,
So
cheers! I'm drinkless right now, but I support this. That reminds me, my favorite story you talked about on our podcast and we on the infamous lost episode. Yes, yeah, was the your first baseball game. We were talking about this a little bit before we got the cameras rolling. I don't know, the audio rolling. And you were talking about how you had the choice between the Diamondbacks and the Marlins as the two teams you could choose. And I was like, listen, some of us were born into this. My dad made the choice for me, but you had an option. Where there was a Cardinals story though, right? Didn't you have a Cardinals baseball story too?
that's the first ever game I went to. So I went to Cardinals, and I've no idea who they were playing. So I went. It was in Bush.
You just knew. Okay, we know it's in St. Louis.
I'd never been to a baseball game. I had no interest in it. My brother lives in St. Louis, so that's why I was there. And he said, "Hey, let's go to a ball game." And I was like, "Absolutely, let's pile in." We'd had a massive house party the night before, and we were all destroyed. It was a day game in St. Louis, so it was 1 p.m. start time, their time. So we set off at 10:30 and got downtown St. Louis. Had a couple of looseners, as you do, sit down in the sun. It was scorching hot. And listen, it was a midweek game. It was packed.
Oh.
And this is like pre-pandemic, right? Clearly, that's years ago. I was sat around thinking, does no one work? What's going on?
It's like a Ferris Bueller's Day Off at that Cubs game in the middle of the day. Everybody's pulling a Ferris.
This is it. Everyone was just getting lit. It was just insane. Beers were flying everywhere, and I didn't have a clue what was happening. It was just I was just shouting anything.
Hey, I love that. I love that.
It was amazing. And for those that have been to Bush and to St. Louis, there's right over the road, there's Ballpark Village, which is a massive complex that had screens and bars and everything. So we watched this full game. I was absolutely destroyed. I fell into Ballpark Village, and we carried on.
And then you went to another bar, Peter. That's incredibly admirable. That's your endurance is really admirable. I commend you.
I can't remember getting home is the problem.
Hey, you're here right now. That's all that matters. You made it out alive. So wait, so I know I asked you this on our podcast, but it escapes me as to why you didn't become a Cardinals fan then. Why'd you end up waiting until the Marlins game?
I know. Do you know when I was watching the game and I was waiting for something to happen that would drag me into the Cardinals, and just nothing did. The game just kind of went along, and I was shouting, I was drinking, and I just felt no connection with the Cardinals at all.
Yeah,
at all. I didn't. And maybe they lost. They may have done. It may have been a low-scoring game. I don't know.
Okay, that could have been it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I went to so we were coming to Miami the year after, and I was like, right, we're going to the Marlins game. Said to my wife, we're going, and it's happening. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna ahead of time watch a couple of games or try and understand who are the players I should be looking out for.
Smart man.
It didn't mean anything to me. Went to the game, Stanton home run in the third inning, and I was like, I'm all in.
I'm in. This is it. That's a great team to have seen too. Yeah, like at least from an offensive perspective, that was awesome.
It was.
Yeah, that's great. I'm trying to remember. I have no recollection of my first Marlins game because I was such a small child. But I did my first real memory of a Marlins game, Peter. Now these are the heydays. Was the '97 World Series? I was sitting over in deep in Pro Player Stadium, right field. I have I was 5 years old in '97, so I was still a young lad. But I have just like those weird early kid memories where it's like flashes. You don't have like a full recollection of the events. You just like remember moments. And then just going to games all the time and all the years following. I also, my favorite Marlins story, I've really hijacked this podcast. I'm sorry, Peter, I've taken it over. It's mine now. I'm the captain now. I'm like the guy in that
you
Tom
are the
Hanks
captain.
movie. I'm the captain now. Was meeting Ryan Dempster, and I've tried so hard to get him on our podcast. He was like my favorite player as a kid because he had a goatee, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And now I've desperately tried to get him on. So I'm going to use this as a platform to say, Ryan Dempster, if you're listening, NLFeast wants you. Come on.
Get him. I mean, this is it. I mean, this is the new platform. They just turn on and go, wow, the production quality's good. This must be
good. It looks good. You got two good-looking guys hanging out. We got two Miami alt jerseys going on too. I see the one in the back.
There she is. There she is sitting back there. Just to kind of tidy up on that thread, by the way, Captain Phillips, the film you're talking about.
Thank you. I've never seen it before. Is it good? Have you seen it before?
What
Oh
the hell?
no, Peter, for the listeners, he raised his arms up in complete disbelief. No, I've never seen it before. It's a gap in my movie knowledge, unfortunately.
Rumor has it your girlfriend isn't back to the apartment for at least 4 hours, and
That's
so
true. This is the perfect time. This is the perfect
drop
time.
it in there.
We just started watching the F1 docuseries last night. That's our new thing we're going to try to get into because we got a lot of friends here in New York that love F1. Are you an F1 guy at all?
I mean, it's part of the fabric of British sports, like
Yeah.
F1. It feels there's a lot of momentum building in the US now around it. Like a lot of,
Huge
the
amount of
guy,
momentum. Yeah.
everyone's all in it. I mean, clearly last year, the run in, the final race, it was just insane. It was one of the best seasons we've ever had. And obviously, they've just had the Miami Grand Prix, and they've
Yeah.
obviously had
Yeah.
the
I
US
heard
Grand
a lot
Prix
of
for a
that.
while. But it's really building momentum in the US, which is fun. And so all I see is all Marlins Twitter piping all the time. It's
I know everybody's
weird, but
tweeting
fun.
about the F1. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's tweeting about F1
know.
now. So it's throwing me for a loop, yeah. Anyways, the Marlins. I needed another sport to to distract me from the Marlins playing badly. So that's what we're
There you
maybe
go.
F1 is it. Maybe F1 is it.
It has to be done. So, I mean, speaking about these Marlins, mate, I mean, where's your head at now? Because I know where my head's at, and I'm kind of struggling a bit. But 18 and 24, heading into this series against the Braves. And listen, this is the beauty of your pod. You don't just cover the Marlins, you cover the
Ooh, I
NL
know.
East, baby. So you've got
True.
the knowledge. You follow these teams. So how are the Braves looking in your view too?
It's kind of weird. So like part of the podcast is covering all of the teams that I grew up not liking, and I also now am exposed to all of their Twitter accounts. I'm friends with like now Braves fans or Phillies fans we've had on the show or reporters or whatever. So my Twitter feed is just a bunch of Mets fans overreacting and now thinking that the season's over. Braves
Mhm.
fans that are like, why are we forgetting we won a World Series last year and we're down on the season already? How long? So that's going on. We have Phillies fans who are just like throwing their hands up in the air. It feels like once or twice a week, just in utter disbelief at a bad thing that's happening to them. And then we have Nationals fans who are just the most peaceful people in the entire world right now. They know they're bad. They're going to be bad for the rest of the year. So they can just kind of enjoy it without any of the exhaustion that comes with actually caring about the season like we had. But Braves, yes. I'll be interested to see how we play. So we've split the series, right? We've won 2 of 3 the first time, and they won 2 of 3 the second time, correct?
That's right. There were 3 and 3 for the year.
Okay. So I'm imagining it's just hard, Peter. The momentum is down in Miami right now. It's hard for me to imagine that we go in and this is such an overreaction. Like it's not even June yet, and we're sitting here being like, season's over if we lose this series. But with the way the Mets are playing, with how competitive the National League is as a whole for that wild card spot, like it's not unreasonable to start getting really worried that we're going to be selling again at another trade deadline. And that I don't know if my little heart can take it, Peter. I'm a Magic fan. I'm a Dolphins fan who do seem to be turning around, but the Marlins are repeatedly the team that I talk myself into every year. Like, this is it. We did this. We got Garcia. We got Soler. Nothing to worry about. And now, getting a little worried. Is that where you're at as well?
I'm really worried. I'm not going to lie. And you know me, I'm a real optimistic. I'm a glass half full.
Very optimistic, man.
Very optimistic. I'm overly optimistic, but
yeah.
the parallels to 2021 are just it's a bit too similar.
Spooky.
And I think we're in real trouble. I think the Mets are better. I think the reason we kept a little bit of hope going last year was the whole of the division was kind of
it was such
stuttering.
a slog. Everybody was beating themselves up and dropping games. People were getting injured. Yeah, absolutely.
The Mets to me look the real deal, but they have had obviously DeGrom hasn't played a game yet. Scherzer's out for 2 months. McGill's gone down. So all of a sudden they're having the pitching challenges. And we saw that in San Fran, right? Where, they blew them up 2 days in a row because, the pitch, this is the thing. And that they'll be searching around for pitching. The Marlins have pitching. Clearly.
Yeah.
It's an intriguing, it's not even June,
mm-hmm.
But listen, they'll be picking up the phone to Kim and saying, Kim, what are you saying with Pablo Lopez?
Yeah, what do you want? So are you on that train then? Are you assuming Pablo's gone? Because I don't know who said it. Was it Fish Stripes that wrote about it? Somebody wrote about it and it got the ball rolling. And now I feel like I'm seeing an uncomfortable amount of Pablo Lopez trade hypotheticals or like people floating it. I'm getting worried. I love Pablo so much. He seems like, I've used this word so many times already today, a sweetheart. He just seems like such a genuinely humble, nice guy, nasty pitcher. Remember that game last year against the Braves where he set the record for most consecutive strikeouts to start a game? Like, he's electric. Yeah. He's electric. But I I'm worried. That's a position. That's our position of depth. Obviously, we have so much pitching in the majors and the minors. It would make sense that that you would sell high on a guy who's a Cy Young candidate right now. But it would still break my heart. It would really break my heart. Is that where you're at too? It would break your heart?
It really would. I absolutely love Pablito. I love him to bits. I love him as a person. I love everything about him. Let's be honest, if he's on the field, he's an absolute stud. No getting away from it. Pablito, healthy, stud. Yeah. And he absolutely deserves to be in the Cy conversation this year. If the Marlins fall out of it and they can get an absolute haul for Pablo Lopez and sell high, I think they have to consider it.
Yeah.
But I just think we're past the situation of keep restocking the farm. Keep restocking the farm.
How many years can we do that? Yeah.
What I want to see is I want to see a legit dude come back, a major league contributor right now. Right now. I want to see a center fielder right now.
You want to buy low on Brian Reynolds?
I mean, the problem for the Pirate, like I do, I absolutely do, but I don't think they'll. I mean, the Pirates should sell Brian Reynolds. They absolutely should, in my opinion. So the Marlins should try and get a deal done. And maybe they're working something. I'm not convinced the Pablo Lopez Brian Reynolds deal is the right fit for the Pirates side.
That makes sense.
But people are going to be calling about Pablo Lopez right now. But I just don't want to see here's a low A dude centerpiece.
I know.
No more low A dudes.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God. We already have our Khalil Watson. That's our low A guy. We're happy watching him.
Got him.
Yes, we got him. He's been fun. I know he's striking out at like a 50% rate right now. But who cares? Yeah, he's 18. He's having fun. Let him do his thing.
Let the kids play. Let the kids play, baby.
Are you? Oh, so please, you first.
How many corners is JJ Bleday going to turn as well? It's like, you know,
it feels like this is it. The JJ Bleday has turned his 14th corner. This man has been taking laps around a rectangle for God knows how long with all the corners he's turning. But and then Burdick cooled down a little bit. I know Mish was tweeting today that he's not as high on Herrera Encarnacion as the rest of us seem to be, but I think any one of, if not two or three of the Burdicks, Bledays, and Encarnacion's we may see in the majors sometime this year, especially if we're selling at the deadline, right? Like, what else are we doing?
We have to see Encarnacion. The options are trickling down. We have to see Lewin Diaz because he's got no more options.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I totally forgot about Lewin Diaz.
You have to see him. So you have to see these dudes. Listen, for me, this is the thing that is puzzling right now. This is why I'm just a little bit concerned about some of the decision making. You've got like Encarnacion going bananas in AA, nuts in AAA. He's gone crazy. So why not do what the Braves are doing with William Contreras?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the backup catcher is caught fire. Next thing is the backup catcher's hitting in the 2 spot playing DH. the Braves are putting the hot guys in the lineup at the right time.
You need to
capitalize on the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Get Encarnacion up there. Let him slash a few bombs, and when he cools off, send him back down.
Send him back down. You have the options to do it. It's not like, and they love. Remember when they called up Diaz this year, and then he sat the bench for 1 game, and then went all the way back to Jacksonville. What are we doing, Peter? We got to be better than that.
That was piss poor.
That was awful. That was embarrassing. That was legitimately an embarrassing way of handling that.
This is why some of the decisions, some of the roster moves since Kim's been around, have been really truly puzzling. Like the Lewin Diaz handling. Me and Alex Carver got into it deep actually when that happened because Alex Carver rightly called out to say they're treating Lewin Diaz like he's an organizational depth dude. They're treating him like he's Eric Gonzalez.
Yeah,
Lewin Diaz is like one of our top 5 prospects, and what are we doing with him? Why are we making him drive 7 hours, drink 4 coffees, and then send him on his way?
Like I hadn't slept. Yeah, what are we doing to the guy? Oh my God. Yeah, Peter. And you saw the. Are you allowed to curse on this podcast? What are the rules?
Absolutely.
Okay, you saw the bullshit about the way that the Marlins are handling their minor leaguers too. That was really disappointing. They're not giving them extended spring pay and not providing housing with it. Like, we're the only team in the division because, like you said, I pay attention to the whole division. We're the only team in the division that are not doing either of those things, and it's like, it just doesn't make us look good. You know, it increases the reputation that we're penny pinchers and that we don't care about our minor leaguers. And it's like, it just sucks. That was a really disappointing thing to see.
Funny thing is, last season, I felt like the Marlins went on the front foot in this area. They were kind of put a stake in the ground early doors to say, no, this is what we're doing. Yeah. And they were kind of a trailblazer. And I was like, great. And I kind of, give it the Twitter
For sure.
applause.
You can put
Great,
up the emojis. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the emoji fired up, and I was like, "Great, this is what we want to see." The Marlins are a farm; they're a draft develop kind of team, right?
Yeah.
So it should be just part of their DNA to look after these dudes, give them the best possible opportunity to develop. That's the Marlins' bread and butter.
I know.
Okay, if your farm's full of just dross and you don't give a shit, then who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? But the lifeblood of this organization is the farm.
Building
So
up.
treat them like pro athletes.
And I don't want to hear that this wouldn't make a difference. Like if they had like reliable housing and had a reliable source of income, that's like alleviating that point of stress would immediately allow them to perform at a higher level. Like who knows? Like it seems like such an easy decision to make, especially when other teams are doing it. It is very frustrating to see. I know it's disappointing. Yeah,
really is. It's disappointing is the right word on it, and it does matter. Listen, when I've only had 2 hours sleep and I've had 5 coffees, my podcasts aren't that good.
Peter, I had a weird night. I think it wasn't last night, it was 2 nights ago, where I just couldn't fall asleep. I'm a solid sleeper. We have this break room in our office today, and I took a nap in it, Peter. That's the kind of guy that I am when it comes to sleeping. I shut the door, I locked it, and I took a nap for 30 minutes. But I was really struggling to sleep the other day. I was just like tossing and turning. My girlfriend was watching TV on the couch out because she didn't have to wake up early like I did. And I ended up getting 3.5 hours of sleep, and I was not doing good. I was struggling. I was really struggling. So yeah, I know for a fact that if you can give the guys like a roof over their head and a basic income, that it makes a huge difference. But I don't know. Are there any other minor leaguers that you're big on? Are you ready for the Max Meyer parade? When's that happening?
I was driving that train.
You were, yeah.
I was tweeting.
You were honking the horn.
Oh my days! It was just full bandwagon extravaganza. I was all in on Max Meyer because let's go back to the reason why at the time everyone was healthy in the rotation, but Eliezer Hernandez, to me, we know what Eliezer is, and it's 2 times through the lineup max.
Yeah,
he'll always give up a bomb or 2. It's fine. Okay, fifth starter, it's fine.
Fastball, yeah.
But come on, Max Meyer was absolutely blitzing it in AAA. The dude was ready. Get him up. If the Marlins want to win, which they're saying they do, and I think they do. Clearly, they want to win.
Yeah.
To just leave him down there, and next thing is he's hurt. You're like, oh boy, come on. So
speaking of that was what you were just saying. Call up guys when they're hot. Let's get the most out of them when they're on fire. In the beginning of the season, he was going nuts. What are we doing keeping Eliezer Hernandez in there? But we didn't even talk about it. We got Hernandez out of the bullpen yesterday for an inning.
What the? I mean, I didn't know what was happening. I assumed, okay, I was like, Eliezer, okay, he's out the pen. Here he goes.
Yeah,
okay.
He's warming up.
The Marlins have just kind of sneakily just slipped him into the bullpen. No one said anything.
Nobody.
But actually, what we realized was because they've got all these random off days, 3 off days, I think, in the space of a week or so. He missed his start, and it was just effectively a little bullpen sesh for him in between starts. So he's starting on Sunday. But
I know that's weird.
I thought they'd made the move. Like I thought Cody Poteet back out the rotation because he had a couple of innings the other day. So again, I don't want to go back to Don Mattingly too heavily on this, but some of the decision making around the roster construction for the past 2 years has been very, very curious.
Yes, questionable for sure.
Let's go back to 2020. Mike Hill, when the COVID outbreak came, listen, Mike Hill was an absolute maestro that year.
He was pulling guys out of places I'd never heard before. He was going to call us up soon, Peter. We were going to be pitching for the Marlins or playing the infielders.
I was out there taking live BP, and my God, I'm telling you, just
you're warming up. Yeah, get the muscles on.
No doubt. So, what we can't forget though how effective Mike Hill was in that year.
Yeah.
Somehow we got the right guys in at the right time in the right spots, made it happen. And since Mike Hill's gone away, I've been left scratching my head on more occasions, and I've kind of gone, oh yeah, I see exactly what they're doing. Yeah. That's a bit of a concern. Like, okay, was it Jeter? Well, Jeter's gone now, and we've still got these weird selections happening.
Who are we blaming now? Yeah.
Who's left to blame? Fire Mattingly then. He's gone.
He's gone. He's got to get rid of him. I think the thing that was the most upsetting was when they started having Alfaro play anywhere but catcher last year. What was that about, Peter? I was there in person for the Mets walk-off when Alfaro fumbled the ground ball. And I had Mets fans apologizing to me. That's how they knew how awful that experience was for me. And it was a doubleheader, and I was going to the second game. So it was just like, Oh, yeah, that was one of the weirder things that comes to my mind. But yeah, you really did kind of rattle in me just the recollection of the random dudes that were playing during the COVID season when it would just like an outbreak would happen. They're just pulling up guys I'd never heard of. We were also getting the young guys that we were hyped about. Lewin Diaz was showing, Jazz was showing a little bit. I don't think Jesus played then. Did he come up and get a cup of coffee, or did he not play at all in 2020? I don't recall. I'm putting you on the spot now too.
I don't think he did in 2020. No, I know
I don't
Jazz
think he
did.
did either. Yeah, Jazz
No,
definitely
no.
didn't.
I don't think Jesus. Well, maybe he did actually, and Lewin definitely came up.
Lewin definitely did. Yeah,
maybe Jesus had a cup of coffee as well.
Who's to say?
He must have done. He must have done.
There's like 100 people that played on the Marlins that year. There's no way that he did it. But who were you were you expecting Cabrera on Sunday? Was that where your head was at before the Eliezer news that he was still pitching?
I was just thinking, listen, Cabrera's fully stretched now. We saw the 6. We know we had a late start, and whatever. He was being built up. He goes 6 innings, 11, 12 Ks. You're like, okay.
Looks
There's an open spot. There's an open spot in the rotation now because Lozado isn't back. He's not going to be back for a while. Sixto's still throwing from 90 feet. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, Sixto's in a parking lot, just like with a tape measure, figuring out if he's at 91 feet, 92 feet. Yeah. Oh my God, those tweets drive me insane, man. I just tell me when he's like on a mound, because I know they're saying dry mound. What the hell's a dry mound? Do you know what a dry mound is?
I have no idea. I assume a mound that isn't wet. I don't know.
That's what I know. It sounds borderline inappropriate. I don't know. They're sitting around on a dry mound, throwing the ball a little bit, I guess. I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, so do you think also is Sixto going to be our closer if he's healthy? Is that what you're anticipating? That's kind of where my head's at a little bit. Bring him up and see what he can do.
I think there's no Sixto in 22. I don't think I don't think there's a shot. No, I haven't felt that way about Sixto. I think it's a full just rehab year. Just take your time, because let's be honest. The way this season's going right now, there's going to be no need to rush Sixto to be a closer because
I know.
just leave. I mean, if they catch fire, then maybe.
Yeah.
But we got to look at it, at the bigger picture and go, they didn't address center field. They tried to, but they didn't make it happen.
Yeah.
They didn't address the closer spot. They kind of tried to, but like Sulser and Scott, they're not at the right level. And we've seen that, they're okay. And so some of our biggest needs we didn't fill. And the problem is they spent, what did they put? 80, 90 million into Soler and Garcia. You can't whiff. You can't whiff on both of them.
No, you can't. And Garcia's been truly the most frustrating. Like, he's swinging at sliders in the dirt. He's like, oh my God. And I know he's out there trying. Like, there's no reason for him not to be trying. But it does feel like he got the big contract and then kind of just is just disappointing. It's like, it's not even the average. Like, obviously the average is like at the Mendoza line. It's like barely like bouncing back and forth between under or over 200, but it's the power, the man. And it's another thing. These two guys, when they do hit a homer, it's in a blowout, or it's like not in an important, like we end up losing the game anyways. It's like, we're wasting these homers that we're getting from him. But yeah, he's been fine in right field. Like, it's not like his defense has been losing us games or anything. So maybe he really does get the move to center field, but yeah, man, he's been something else. And then it's also awful because then you see like Jock Peterson hit 4 home runs in 2 games, and you're like, oh, we could have had this guy for 1 year, $6 million, but instead gotta have Avisail Garcia for like 4 years, 54. Is that what it was?
Yeah, for 4 years, 53 mil, I think. So
big
commitment. We need.
It's only the beginning.
We're gonna need him to work it out, but I mean, it has not been good for Mavi. There's been no power. There's been grounders to third over and over and over again. The defense is fine, but listen, you can't have 53 million committed into a dude that is doing what he's doing. It's it's killing this team. It's been an offensive problem because you've got in there a Cooper that's fine. Coop's been fine. Jazz has been electric, but Brian Anderson's been fine. He's getting on base, but you're paying the money for Soler and Avi to be those guys, and they haven't been.
They haven't
been.
No, they haven't been. Soler's at least hitting for power. Like, his average is awful. And like, has very frustrating moments where he's like whiffing at things or just like swinging at balls out of the box. But at least he's hitting for power. Yeah, that's the frustrating part about Garcia, is he's not hitting for power. And as we famously know, Kim Ang said he's a 30 home run a year kind of guy. So where's that going on?
Was that cumulative? I can't recall.
Yeah, if you accumulate all my home runs, I guess I'm a 30 home run hitter guy too over my entire life. But
agreed.
Yeah,
I want to ask you as well. Just speaking about other guys,
please.
You're right on Soler. I'm more encouraged with Soler, and he is what he is. for me, he's an upgraded Duvall, to be honest with you. They're the kind of same dude.
Completely agree. Completely agree.
I wanted to ask you, though, and this is the question I think that needs to be asked. Miguel Rojas. Miggy Rowe, because...
Peter, you're putting me on the spot. Don't make me choose if our captain is going on the bench or if he's starting, man. Is that the question?
My eyebrows are up.
I know. This is a hard one for me because I truly haven't had, and obviously this is all pseudo social relationship. I don't actually have a relationship with them, but it feels like I know the man. He's such a great locker room presence. Like all of the classic bullshit phrases that you hear, like old sports beat writers talk about, are like, oh yeah, he's the guy everybody looks up to. He's the veteran. He's the kind of guy Jazz needs around. Like Jazz is so electric. It's like, and we want never to turn that personality down, but just like great work ethic, great like family man. It just seems like he's covering it all. That being said, we do need to see something a little bit more out of him, especially offensively. Defensively, he's still, like you say, a stud, but offensively, yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with him. And like, he's a little bit of the opposite for me. And I haven't even looked at statistics or anything to back this up, where I'm like, when he does hit for power, which never happens anymore, or like whenever he does get an extra base hit, it does seem to be in a clutch moment, or it seems like when we're down and we needed a little bit of an injection of excitement or whatever motivation. I don't know. I'm not ready to say sit him. Because then what do you do? So you move Wendell to shortstop, and then you have Brian at third, but then Brian can't play right field if we move Avi out to center field. Like, it does become a little bit of a point. I guess we have Luke Wilson. What is his name? What's this guy's name? Is he going to be our starting shortstop? Who knows? Like,
who's Luke Wilson? I think
Williams. Yes. Okay. All right. Listen. He's a stranger to me, Peter. I don't know how long we're going to be knowing Luke Wilson or Williams or Willis, whatever this guy's name is. But yeah, I guess then you have Eric Gonzalez. Like, what do? We just don't have another option. I feel like because it seems like Jazz has been so good defensively at second base, which is a huge improvement. We really needed to see that out of him, and like he definitely did that. And Miggy is a phenomenal defensive shortstop still. Yes, he's had his moments here and there where he's not great. And he's not as fast as he used to be, but he can still cover ground. He can still do what he needs to do. But yeah, I guess so. Let me turn this back on you. If we sit him, what do we do? Where in this, like, we got Wendell for the depth. We're like using the versatility of Brian Anderson and Wendell, letting Birdie play in everywhere. But like, if something like this happens again, if there's God forbid a COVID outbreak, or there's like a consistent injury bug going around or whatever it is, like, what do we do then? Then I guess Miggy starts. But like, yeah, I get what does the starting lineup look like if Miggy's sitting?
There's been some conversation I've heard around basically platooning Wendell and Miggy. And
wait, is this a sources thing? Are you saying sources are saying?
No.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
There's just been some Marlins Twitter conversation around this. This is what I would do. And going back to your question about, the manager and, if you fire Don Mattingly, well, who's taking over? Yeah. Maybe the Marlins go really new school. I mean, they beyond analytics, they take it to a level, not just Twitter Tuesday, but they just put it out there to Twitter every day with a poll. Give me your lineup today, Twitter, and we'll pick the one. And whoa, who's coming out the bullpen? Bang!
Yes,
vote now.
I love this. It's like American Idol or whatever. It's like, yeah, you just call in and vote, or however you do it. Like, this is a phenomenal idea, Peter. This is new age at its by definition. Yeah, that's a great idea. But unless you do that, what do you do? Yeah.
Here's the other one, just to kind of continue on that point for the Marlins too. Imagine that, a subscription service for that. So all of a sudden, you've got a revenue stream. Oh boy! Yeah, all of a sudden,
they love making money. You're speaking their language, my friend.
I mean, I'd pay $10 a month to be able to make decisions.
How much of a sway would it have? Would it be like a just full democracy, like whatever lineup card gets the most votes or whatever, most players that get voted? Like, how would that work? Or like, I want proof that if I'm paying, maybe this is the cheap guy in me coming out, but I want to see like objective proof that my decision is being weighed or I'm influencing something somehow. I guess a poll would probably be the right way to do that, right?
I'm looking at polls. I just want to Twitter poll straight up, just see how it goes,
Miami Marlins Twitter. Yeah, the poor human, whoever it is that runs that social media account's already getting bullied 24/7. We need to have them start putting out lineup cards now. They'll quit before the end of the season.
Just imagine that though. But anyway, to go back to it, the approach could be Wendell, takes the strong platoon there, Miggy, defensive guy. I mean, they kind of rotate around, but listen, if you've got your strongest lineup in offensively, because I think that, you just got to get some more offense going. Like at the
Yeah.
heart of this problem for the Fish, the offense just isn't putting up enough runs.
No.
However you want to slice and dice it, there's no other way of looking at it. Just need more runs. And so
I completely agree.
put the guys in the lineup that can hit runs and worry about the defense after.
So you want the Phillies approach. You want to bring Philadelphia down to Miami, it sounds like.
I'm okay with that. I mean, why not? I mean, they're fun.
They're fun. Listen, and that's what we need. We need some fun at least. If we're going to be losing, let's at least be 12 to 10 games, not like 2 to 3 games. You know what I mean?
You can't watch 162 3-2s.
No,
you can't.
Absolutely not. That'll kill a man. That'll kill you. Yeah, it'll be awful. It'll be awful.
And
what do you
all eyes?
Sorry, I interrupted you. No, I interrupted you. What do you think of Stallings? Because it seemed like there were some people that were like, anti-Stallings was starting to take over the Marlins Twitter sphere. But I still kind of love Stallings. I know like Baseball Savant says he's bad at framing. It's still awesome to see him get in front of balls. Like the pass balls numbers are obviously way lower, and he's offensively is turning it around a little bit. He had a double yesterday that was really really important for that rally we had going. I don't know what third inning, fifth inning, I forget what it was. But yeah, he has been offensively turning around a little bit. He is maybe the slowest base runner I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks like he's had surgery on every joint in his body 5 times. Like this man is struggling to get anywhere. But outside of that, I think he's been obviously a marketable improvement from where we were last year at it.
It's funny with Stallings, isn't it? Because it's like, how do you judge his value day to day? It's one of those where it isn't, talking about the Braves earlier and their catchers, William Contreras has hit 7 home runs and 40 plate appearances or something. Like that's just not what you're going to get from Stallings. What do you want? You just got to put in your mind and remember how bad it was in 21 defensively.
Absolutely.
Just remember how awful it was. This Marlins team and roster is built for low-scoring games.
Yes.
Pitch well, defense solid behind the plate, particularly. Stallings has been fine, and actually the at the plate, and it's not going to be bombs away with Stallings ever.
No.
But at the plate and the swings he's been taking the last 10 days, I've been really encouraged. The swing plane is really flat through the zone, and I'm like, he's making some solid contact.
That's good. And he still has gap power when he does that. Like I said, he hit a double yesterday. And he's got a good eye, and I love a guy that has got. I don't know what his statistics are. I haven't looked. I don't have him in front of me or whatever. But like I remember yesterday because I clocked it because he seems to treat umpires in a way that's very respectful for the most part, but he got a curveball in, and it was at least a few inches off the plate, and those called a strike, and he just turned around and like gave him a little bit of a lip and walked away. And I was like, oh, a little Stallings heat. Okay, I like to see a little bit of energy out of the guy.
That's what we like to see. But I mean, you're right. These guys, these catchers, the elite dudes like that. I mean, they know. A lot of these hitters know too, right? And the problem is the umpires. I mean, they're 65 years of age. They've got an obscured view.
What are we doing? Get these old men out of here. What is going on? It's like politicians. There's got to be an age where you can no longer work in the field. I'm sorry. If you can't drive your car to work, then you should not be allowed to work at all. I know, man. That's the most. And then do you follow that ump scorecard Twitter account? Yeah. It's always the dude in their mid 30s or early 40s that's calling like the 98% accurate game. It's like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. No geriatrics behind the plate.
Yeah, those dudes can see. Firstly, that helps. But their body hasn't fully seized up.
No, they're not in rigor mortis or whatever.
Stallings may make a great umpire. Just thinking about it.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea. I umpired for a little bit when I was a little kid. I did like little league umpiring, and it is not an easy job, man. I know. We're ragging on them a little bit, but there is a little bit of empathy that I have for them. I got my fair share of shouted at by parents, and they're getting shouted at Marlins stadiums, maybe a few thousand people, but in other stadiums, a ton more. But why did I take a low blow to our own team here? What am I doing? But I feel for them a little bit too on the same side.
I've got full empathy too, mate. I am completely with you. It's an impossible task. They need help back there. And the thing is, Major League Baseball, they're trying to work out how do we make our game better? What kind of rules are we trying to implement? Why not start with the fundamentals of, is it a ball? Is it a strike?
It seemed like a good place to start. I got to give it to you.
Let's get it right, because the shift when you kind of get into it and you look at some of these blown calls early in counts, it completely changes everything. And, just start with the fundamentals of the game. It's balls and strikes. Get it right.
I know.
And just watch the game transform
Yeah,
just because
absolutely.
you get it right. I
So
can see it.
are they
happening,
gonna are they gonna keep the umpires out there and they're gonna get like almost how they're doing the virtual
the pitch
calling?
come.
Yeah, the pitch
Yeah.
call. Do you think that's what's gonna happen? And someone's gonna be telling them what it is, or like are they gonna be gone completely? That's a little weirder, I think, right?
I think they'll still be there. I think there's still something for them to do.
Yeah.
Brush the plate or
That's
I
true.
don't know, whatever.
Call time, I guess. Yeah.
I guess there's stuff to like manage the situation, but I think balls and strikes wise, they'll have the buzzer, boom, strike,
Yeah.
or ball, and they'll then just call it or
Yeah.
whatever. I think that's the way it'll go. So for me, I'm an advocate of that because I just think it'll improve the game. There's too many times where I see, the first pitch, it's a ball, but it's called a strike. All of a sudden, okay,
Yeah.
0-1 count changes the at bat straight away.
Absolutely. Jazz said that. I think I think it must have been spring training or whatever. It was definitely very early in the year, but he was talking about how one of the things he wanted to work on was his approach. How if he like, because he'd had a couple just straight up wrong calls called on him last year that led to strikeouts and stuff, and like how he would just dismiss entire at bats if he went from like a 2-1 count to instead of a 3-1 a 2-2 count. And he would just be like, we just kind of mail it in a little bit, and that's how he wanted to change his approach this season. But like, he's not the only guy doing that. I know that if I was up there, I'd be, because then you get angry and then you let your emotions take over, and then that like that is absolutely affecting at bat. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what MLB is doing. They got these dead balls now. They got like who the hell knows what's going on in baseball, but yeah, that seems like one of the easier places to start is let's get the calls right on the field.
I'm with you. I have no idea what they're doing with these dead balls. I mean, the skeptic in me says, well, the CBA has meant that the owners have to pay more money in general.
Yeah.
And so they've gone, well, let's kind of squash some of the offense. So when we get around to arbitration and free agency next year, we can recoup it because,
Peter, that's really interesting. Look at you with your conspiracy theories. I like it. I got the tinfoil hat. I mean, there is something up. I mean, pitchers were just straight up calling out that the balls were inconsistent from their point of view at the beginning of the season, just saying, I'm getting different balls every inning. It doesn't feel the same. The grip is different. So something is up. And it's also it's incredibly sketchy and also incredibly American of the company that does like all of the calling of whatever I'm trying to say here, any of the rule abiding, also owns the factory that the balls are made. Like that just makes it immediately suspicious. Like there's no quality control. Nobody knows what you're doing. The union has to be going crazy because they got no idea what's going on. And it, like you're saying, it affects player salaries. And meanwhile, they're just not letting anybody know. I know a study came out a while ago that there was some inconsistencies in some parts of the ball, but like, yeah, just that's one of the funnier things about baseball is they own the ball making company, whatever it is, Rawlings or whoever's making them. And you don't know what's going on there.
Oh, there's no conflict whatsoever, right? I mean,
no conflict of interest. Absolutely not. What are we talking about here, Peter? Oh my God.
Insane. Yeah. Listen, we are 57 minutes in.
I know. I took you a little bit long today. I'm sorry.
I haven't even done the second ad, so I'm going to do the second ad.
All right, knock it out. I'll stay out of your way.
This has been a stunning episode, no doubt. And I did tease it out. So everyone listening back, go, Pete, you called this one. I knew it was going to be. Yeah. Knew it'd be a stunner.
We got to. Oh, sorry. No. I'll let you go.
Please.
I was just gonna say we got a drunk Peter story, so it's already a good episode of Locked On Marlins. It's a legend. Okay, now you go.
Nailed on. Right. So this episode, it's also brought to you by LinkedIn Talent Solutions, and with spring in the air, it's a time of renewal and growth, personally and professionally. As your small business grows, LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster, and maybe more importantly, for free. So create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond. It's to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Boy, oh boy. So add your job and the purple #hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. So LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnMLB. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnMLB to post your job. Yep, for free. Terms and conditions apply. Boy, oh boy, Sam, get that CV fired up, brother. Get that.
I hope none of my bosses are listening. I'm like, ooh, LinkedIn sounds pretty good. Sounds like you know what you're doing over there.
Exactly. Did you know 810 million professionals?
That's insane. That's an incomprehensible number of professionals, Peter. I don't even know what I would do with all those professionals.
Really is. All right, so let's just look ahead to this weekend series. I think there's a
Yes.
few not random. There's a few storylines that are interesting. What's happening with Jazz? Is he going to be back? What's happening with Acuna? Is he going to be back? Because
Oh,
he
that's a
missed
great
yesterday's game. So
Yeah.
I'm interested. What happens if the Marlins hit Acuna in this series?
That's what my question was going to be. Yes. What happens if he goes high and in again? I mean, first off, like I said earlier in the show, I am inundated in Braves Twitter, not as much as Marlins Twitter, but I see a lot of it, and they will go ballistic. You were getting into not arguments, but playful banter with Braves fans this last week. Like, what would happen, Peter? Do you think would like the first Twitter war would happen between Braves fans and Marlins fans if Acuna got hit?
Oh, it's already happened before. There's been multiple Twitter wars on that, and listen, Braves Twitter is a zoo.
Yes,
It's
there's a lot going on
biggest
there.
zoo ever, no doubt about it. And they are overly protective. And Ronnie kind of brings it on, like his demeanor about getting hit by pitches.
Yes, for sure he does.
We're past this intentional hit by pitch situation. At the end of the day, batters get hit. 3 Marlins in the last series got hit. No one's throwing hissy fits. No one's having shenanigans.
No,
Ronnie, if you get hit and it happens, be thankful you're not hurt.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
Take your base, big
Just
lad. You're
go.
on first base. Go and steal second.
And stop giving looks at pitchers if they throw in. Because, like, I was talking, I think it was Jeremy Taché was talking about this, but, like, that eliminates a full strategy for the pitchers. There's no way to pitch to Acuna, who's a phenomenal hitter already, if you take away a quadrant of the strike zone. And, like, he knows what he's doing. I guarantee you he knows what he's doing. If he milks this story and makes it feel like Marlins pitchers can't throw high and into him, then he's just going to mash all day. Like, this is almost certainly intentional, isn't it, Peter?
It has to be. What isn't intentional? What isn't intentional is the Marlins actually trying to hit it.
Yes, that's a great point too.
It really isn't.
Jose Urena is not on the team anymore. He's gone. I don't know where he is. He's in Houston or something. Who knows?
I think he was in Milwaukee, and then
is that where he got
released. I think he was DFA'd from Milwaukee.
He was a Tiger for a little while, I remember.
Yeah, he was a Tiger last year. Remember, he was the ace for the Tigers last year. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's like when Caleb Smith was our ace back in the day.
Boy, oh boy, I saw that resurface today. Eli put that out there, going, 2019.
Yeah.
We were talking about Caleb was the ace and we should extend him. Hey, Caleb.
Now he's a reliever for the Diamondbacks, right?
I mean, he had about 7-8 Ks against the Marlins in
that's
that last
true.
series.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Why is it that old ex-Marlins players constantly play well against us? Like Harold Ramirez is Barry Bonds right now. Barry Bonds against us. Like, oh my God. Yeah, that was just very frustrating. Even like national media members were starting to tweet about Harold Ramirez and how the Rays can really just pull great players out of anywhere. And I was like, this sucks, man. This is so disappointing.
That was so painful. Like I said in my daily recap the morning after, I was just like, there's a metaphor or a story or something kind of in here. I don't know what it is. I can't piece it together in my head because we're in so much pain.
I know. We can't possibly think that hard. We're just suffering constantly.
No, I need to sit here in silence and not see that opposite field home run from Harold Ramirez that somehow fell over the wall.
Over the wall. How did it get out? Oh, Peter, but you were talking about looking to the future, and I'm going to name the Marlins' next 3 series, and I want you to predict how many games the Marlins win, okay?
Okay.
It's painful. Have you looked at the schedule coming up?
We've got Braves, Rockies, and Giants, I think.
Yes, Braves, Rockies, and Giants. So we're away at Atlanta, at Colorado, and then the Giants come back to the Marlins for a 4-game series. Where are you seeing us after that? Because we're talking about this being make or break time for the Marlins. The next week, 2 weeks is make or break for them. This could not be a worse schedule for that. I mean, I guess the Rockies aren't great, but like playing in cores, they're obviously exceptional in cores. Like, where's your head at with that? Where do you think we're going to go?
Bad news. We're going to be 21-30.
Oh, Peter, come on. You're supposed to be the perpetual optimist. What are you doing?
I am. I'm being optimistic. We're winning 1 game in each series.
Okay, all right. All right.
No sweeps.
No sweeps. I guess that's what we did with the Braves last time. I could see there's also sometimes we do weird, like the Marlins pull weird shit out of the hat. Like we could take 2 of 3 from the Braves and Rockies, and next time I'm on the podcast, we're talking about the Marlins are making a great run. Like there is obviously a chance that we do it, but I think I'm with you that this is not looking good. I mean, the Braves also aren't playing like the Braves did the second half of last year. So we do have
No.
that going for us. Like maybe we get a couple subpar Braves performances and then we roll into Colorado with a little bit momentum. But the Giants beat the piss out of us at the beginning of the year. Sorry for my strong language, but I remember just being like, oh no, this feels bad. And even at home, like Marlins aren't winning home games right now. I'm a little worried as well. I think I'm with you on the pessimism side of things.
I must say though, baseball's a funny game. Even the worst teams in the league, they don't just keep losing. They find a way. And in May, the Marlins have been so bad. They've been the worst team in May in baseball. They've been absolutely dog shit. After we said, get off to the season hot, we're like, hey, in April, hey, 7-game win streak. New Marlins, come on.
Doesn't it feel like years ago, 7-game win streak?
And then all of a sudden, May arrives. And listen, I don't even know what May would have looked like if we didn't play the Nationals. I mean, lucky we played them.
Thank God. Have you seen more like Little League baseball style defense than the Nationals playing? Like that was, I mean, great for us, bad for them, but they were not looking good, man. They were not looking good.
Right, the Nats know what they are this year, and they're not good. And there's a big decision to be made with that franchise very soon in terms of
maybe
selling it or
Pablo Lopez for Juan Soto. Who says no, Peter? Who says no?
I'm not sure Bruce Sherman says yes because he can't afford to pay Soto.
That's a very good point. I asked Brandon this on our podcast, but do you think the Nationals will ever leave last place in the division now, or do you think that this is where they're going to be for the remainder of the season? I asked him like 3 weeks ago, but I'm curious where your head's at.
Oh, I think they're wire bottom
forever for the rest of the year.
For the next 3, I'm going to say. I'm not
next
sure
3. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they're in 5th place constantly for 3 seasons now.
That's a hell of a prediction. I like it though. I mean, because if it's not them, it's us, right? We can't be in last place, please. I gotta have some semblance of dignity.
It can't be. That Max Meyer Cy Young campaign next year is going to be sensational. And listen, the Max Meyer Rookie of the Year campaign has still got time in 22.
That's true. Do we get an ETA on his return?
I think I saw something pop up today saying at least 7 days away from throwing again. So,
oh God, okay. So we got some time.
It didn't sound good though. Like, when the news came out, it's like, oh, we expect it to be maybe 7 to 10 days, maybe even just miss one start.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, but what is the injury? And I looked at what it was. I was like, this doesn't sound good. Like,
no. Is it elbow? It's elbow, right?
Some sort of ulnar nerve something,
Okay.
Basically 2 of his fingers were numb in his throwing hand. I was like, that doesn't sound that great.
That's not good. Yeah, whenever you're feeling numb, that's a really bad sign.
Yeah,
have you ever had like a ligament or joint surgery or anything like that? I've never had it, so I don't know what it's like, the recovery process.
No, or me, mate. I'm too much time on the couch, not enough time actually out there, I guess.
That's a good point. Yeah. I stopped playing sports when I was like going into high school. So I have never had any serious injuries. I think my worst sports injury for sure though, I was in Little League. I was like 7 or 8, and I was playing third base, and I took a shot from the shortstop to third base. It hit me in the eye, broke my ocular bone in my nose. And it was the worst injury I've ever had playing sports. But that's like, there's no surgery they do. They can't put a cast around your eye. You know what I mean? So I just kind of like took it off the face. But have you? What's the worst? This is a little bit of a personal question, so feel free to skip over. But what's the worst injury you've ever had?
My worst injury, I think, was having my first COVID jab. When I had the jab, and I was,
dude, that knocked my girlfriend on her ass. She had the first one, and it was like, because it was, which one was it that was supposed to be the worst one? It was the first one was supposed to be the easier one, and the second one was supposed to be the worst one, right? That's what they said for the people who got 2 shots.
I don't know what that, for me, I just rocked up there. I was like, yeah, I'm feeling cool. Went with my wife. She had her jab, I had mine. And I don't know how they did it in the US, but in the UK, you had to go and sit in the
wait
little
for like
holding
10 minutes. Yeah.
Wait for 10 minutes. So, hey, walked down there, sat down, we're talking away. And I just said to her, hey, I feel a bit lightheaded here. And next thing is, I was just
really
KO'd. Yeah.
Were you okay in the end? Obviously, you're here right now, but like
I'm alive. I'm alive.
I got COVID like a month ago. I got for the first time I had COVID.
Really?
Yeah, and it led to me working from home a lot, which is kind of nice. I got to kick the feet up a little bit. But it didn't kick my butt too bad. We were pretty good. But anyways, going back to the story. But yeah, my girlfriend got the first jab, and we were sitting there. This is such a weird movie to turn on when you're just like post-vaccine, but she was watching Saving Private Ryan. So we're just like in our room watching Saving Private Ryan, and I look at her, and she's like looking through me, and I was like, this is not good. And she was like getting sick, like was really down for the count, and it was for like 3 or 4 hours post vaccination. But then she was fine, and the second one was fine, her booster was fine. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, there was a that's not the only bad reaction I've heard to for the first shot. Were you fine for boosters and second shots? Did you get lightheaded again?
Second one, I was fine. I rocked up there, and the guy was like, "So, how you feeling?" I went, "I feel fine." I said, "Bit nervous though." I passed out after the first one, and the guy went, "Lie on that bed, senor."
Wow, they set you up nice.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
Okay, I'm doing good.
So yeah, I was just laid up there. Like everyone else was there, all looking, fine. There was 78-year-old, ladies and gents. They were made to stand up,
dancing with canes. Yeah, and you're over there on the table. Did you get yours at like a pharmacy, or did you have to go to a proper doctor's office?
Oh no, the way they had these centers set up in the UK, where it was just like, an old supermarket that they converted into this, shot zone, and the second one was an old church that was, so it was not a medical environment whatsoever.
Absolutely. I had mine at a Walgreens. Are you familiar with Walgreens?
Yeah.
Just like a CVS, just like a pharmacy store. But they were doing them on the streets in New York City. Like they had just tents outside of parks or like just on the random parts of the city. And you could just like go up and get your vaccination whenever you want, which is obviously the right thing to do. But like, it was just, it felt weird. It seemed a little dystopian and a little strange.
Surreal, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we're probably out of time. I mean,
sorry I took all your time, Peter. I really held you on for like 40 minutes longer than we intended.
I mean, a 20-minute podcast, when it becomes an hour and 10, it has been a wonderful episode, and it truly has. So
a legendary conversation.
I'm excited to see, and I've just realized I haven't hit record.
Oh, Peter, don't. You are too good of an actor, because I saw your eyes for a second. I was like, oh, no. And then I was like, I can see the record button on the thing. Like, I know he's recording. So, but there was a split second where I was like, we're never going to release a podcast together, Peter. It'll never happen. Just the two most cursed individuals in the world.
Absolutely.
You got me good.
Sam, please tell everyone, where they can follow you on Twitter, because not everyone watches the show. Some may be listeners. Sure. They may not be able to see the graphics here. So tell them where they can follow you on Twitter. Equally, please pump the pod too. I know we've mentioned it, but please do give it the full pump.
I'll give it the full plug. I'm Sam Clark. I am the co-host of an NLEast specific podcast. We're called NLFeast. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Deezer. All those weird ones you've never heard of. We are available everywhere. We're brought to you by the Sports Drink Network, where there's a couple Braves podcasts, honestly, Peter. So we're kind of getting the NLEast. We're slowly getting the Sports Drink to become a baseball network. But yeah, we come out every Friday at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're a night owl and you want to check it out, feel free to do that. Follow us on Twitter at NLFeast. Follow me on Twitter at NLFeastSam. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. This was an absolute blast. I really appreciate it.
I've absolutely loved this conversation, this episode. It has been
sensational.
Killed it.
We had fun.
It's been great. I mean, for anyone that's watching, they just seen like it's getting darker and darker and darker in this room. Yeah. Like, it's almost going to be getting lighter and lighter and lighter as soon as the sun comes up.
I know. It'll be like when I couldn't fall asleep all over again, Peter. Oh, my God. But I'm going to leave here and go watch Captain Phillips. I'll give you my full review. I'll let you know what I think of it.
Please do. Well, we've had 2 Tom Hanks movies mentioned. Not only have we had Captain Phillips, but Saving Private Ryan. Is that Tom Hanks too?
Point. That is Tom Hanks. Yeah, the lead. I think he might have been nominated for that too. Huh. I was just saying.
So there we go.
We're a movie. It's a movie podcast now, Peter.
It's a movie. Exactly. It's going to be the NL. I can't even think of the
pun. Yeah, I'm out.
I'm out of puns.
We've been talking for too long. Our brains are dead.
There's a T-shirt to be had in there somewhere too. I don't know.
I'll send you some pitches. We got to do the Bass Pro Shop shirt again too. That's the big
100%. Let's get that one going. That's gonna knock Brinsanity off the top spot.
Absolutely, get rid of that merch too. But yeah, thanks again, Peter. I really appreciate you having me.
All right then, guys. That is us done. Thursday episode, Locked On Marlins, and you can tell it's an off day because there's no Marlins game to watch tonight. So enjoy the pod, enjoy the episode. It's almost as long as a full Marlins game. So that's a beauty. True. Sam Clark, what a guest, what a conversation. Peter Pratt, Sam Clark, signing out for Thursday, Locked On Marlins. And I am back tomorrow previewing the Brave series with Braves in the UK, Bob Bamba. So stay tuned for that one too. Until then, enjoy the off day. I'll be back tomorrow.